Right. Earlier today, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the Biden administration had, quote, received further information, end quote, regarding Israel's airstrike on a high-rise building in Gaza that hosted offices for the Associated Press and Al Jazeera. But he declined to comment further. Here is the CEO of the AP, Mr. Pruitt, commenting on this over the weekend.
Tell you that we've been in that building for about 15 years with our bureau. We certainly had no sense that Hamas was there. We would like to see the evidence. We're not sure whether Hamas was there or not. We don't know. But I can tell you the impact will be that the world will know less about what's going on in Gaza.
Didn't know that they were in the building. Despite reports that says they have been there for quite some time. Joining me now to talk more about this, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, who serves on the Intelligence and the Armed Services Committee. Senator, welcome to the program.
Hey, Tony, it's good to be back on with you.
So what about the AP's claims that they had no idea that Hamas was in the same building?
Well, Tony, I don't know what would be worse under circumstances if the AP knew that they were sharing office building with Hamas and allowed themselves to be, in effect, human shields, or if they didn't know. I mean, a former AP reporter has written multiple times over the years, going back to 2014, that Hamas fighters would break into the AP office and threaten AP staff, or they'd look out their window from this office and they'd see Hamas fighters in the street shooting missiles and rockets and mortars. You would think that someone at that point over the years, Tony would say, like, hey, I wonder why Hamas is always running around our office building. Or, maybe some responsible leader at the AP would think, maybe we should get our employees safer offices in a better neighborhood. So the AP has a lot of uncomfortable questions to answer. But what there can be no doubt about is that Israel's strike against this building was totally justified and wholly appropriate. If the Associated Press wants to blame anyone for losing its office space, it should blame Hamas for intentionally hiding behind civilians.
Senator, can you have you seen the intelligence that Israel makes reference to in terms of the smoking gun that was shared with the administration?
I have not personally seen that intelligence, Tony, but I have no reason to doubt it. And Israel has a long and well-documented history of going far beyond what's required by the law of warfare to ensure that it is minimizing civilian casualties against a evil adversary who tries to maximize civilian casualties. So I have every confidence in what the government of Israel has communicated publicly and to our government.
In fact, in this case, they gave the occupants of that building over an hour's notice that they needed to exit the building and take valuables with them because the building was going to be hit. Gary Pruitt, who is the CEO of the AP, said that, had no knowledge. That was the clip I just played here moments ago. But you made reference to a 2014 piece from The Atlantic written by a reporter in the region that detailed this long and questionable history between the AP and this the jihadist group. It almost sounds like me, it's like in New York where the mob provides cover for certain businesses, that they were afraid of Hamas and they just didn't report on what they saw so that they could stay in the neighborhood.
There's a strong case to be made for that, Tony. This former AP reporter himself has said that they didn't report on the fact that the AP burst into or that the Hamas burst into AP offices to threaten their staff or was using the office as cover to shoot missiles from right outside. I think this debate that's been sparked by Israel's totally justified strike on this building is actually pretty healthy because it's highlighting just what the so-called media reports from a place like Gaza really are. They are little more than laundered propaganda from terrorist organizations like Gaza or the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Just put yourself, Tony, in the position of one of those so-called reporters or correspondents who lives in Gaza, oftentimes locally employed Palestinians. Do you think that you can report what Gaza or what Hamas is doing in Gaza, the way they use hospitals and nurseries and playgrounds as cover to fire their missiles and rockets? What do you think would happen to you and to your family if your reporting of such a fact shows up over your byline in the media? So in a way, this debate is pretty healthy because it's highlighting just how deeply corrupted so-called media reports are from places like the Gaza Strip.
And Senator, that's the bigger issue here. As a veteran, combat veteran yourself, as a U.S. senator, if the media can't report fact out of fear, they shouldn't be there at all, because that information is then processed and it's not accurate and it's not the whole picture.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not someone that lives and breathes this stuff, Tony, you just pick up the Associated Press reporting. Maybe you see it in your local weekly newspaper in places like Jonesboro or Russellville or Conway or El Dorado, Arkansas, and you kind of equate that Associated Press reporting to what you get from the AP reporter in Little Rock, when nothing can be further from the truth.
Right.
It is a way, again, for Hamas and these other terrorist organizations to launder propaganda through legitimate Western news sources in a way that substantially influences the Western public's understanding what's happening. That's one reason why you see so many Western political leaders putting pressure on Israel anytime these conflicts break out, because the news environment in their countries are shaping public opinion in a way that's unfavorable to Hamas. So from Hamas's standpoint, it is a fantastic information operation.
Senator, you hear that music? We're out of time, and I'm sorry because I wanted to get to the Army now prioritizing climate change as a serious threat to national security. We got to talk about that. I'm going to get you back on again so we can, because I think this undermines our military's mission, and I want to get your input on that. So, Senator, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Tony.